Hello and welcome to Health Zone Seniors. I'm going to say something that may shock you. Please, listen closely. If you're over the age of 60, I am genuinely begging you to stop eating certain vegetables that might be slowly sabotaging your heart health. I know this sounds crazy. Vegetables are supposed to be healthy, right? You've heard it your whole life. Eat your greens. Veggies are good for the heart. But like many things in nutrition, the truth isn't always that black and white. Not all vegetables are created equal, especially when your body isn't 25 anymore. As we age, our metabolism slows down. Our kidneys, liver, and cardiovascular system don't work with the same efficiency they once did. Foods that were harmless or even healthy in our 30s can become problematic in our 60s, 70s, and beyond. That's why I'm sounding the alarm on a handful of vegetables that might be doing more harm than good, especially to your heart. Let's start with something most people believe is the pinnacle of health: of spinach. Now don't get me wrong, spinach is nutrient-rich, but it's also incredibly high in oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds found in many plants, and in high amounts, they can interfere with calcium absorption and lead to kidney stones. Why does that matter for the heart? Because calcium imbalance and kidney strain can lead to mineral dysregulation, raising the risk of hypertension and arterial stiffness. Your heart is directly affected by what your kidneys can and can't process. Now let's talk about tomatoes and bell peppers. These belong to the nightshade family, and for many seniors, they can be silent saboteurs. Nightshades contain compounds like solanine and lectins. While harmless to most, in sensitive individuals, they can trigger inflammation and joint pain. Chronic inflammation is one of the root contributors to heart disease. If you're dealing with joint pain, fatigue, or even unexplained bloating after meals, nightshades could be a hidden culprit. And yes, that includes the tomato sauce you pour over your pasta. Next up, canned vegetables. I know they're convenient, easy to store, easy to cook. But here's the truth. They are often loaded with sodium. And I'm not talking about just a little salt. Some canned vegetables contain over 400 milligrams of sodium per serving. And let's be real, no one eats just one serving. High sodium intake is one of the fastest ways to raise blood pressure. And for aging hearts, that's like pouring gasoline on a fire. If you have high blood pressure or are on medication for it, this one is especially important. Then we have raw cruciferous vegetables, like broccoli, kale, and cauliflower. Again, these are nutritional powerhouses, no doubt. But when eaten in large amounts, especially raw, they contain goitrogens, which can interfere with thyroid function. The thyroid regulates your metabolism, including your heart rate. For someone with borderline or undiagnosed thyroid issues, overloading on raw kale salads and green smoothies could actually suppress your thyroid and slow down your heart's ability to function optimally. Finally, let's talk about something that hides in plain sight: the oils we cook our vegetables in. So many seniors make a stir fry with healthy vegetables, but what are they cooking them in? Corn oil, soybean oil, canola. These are processed seed oils loaded with omega-6 fatty acids. In excess, omega-6s can throw off your omega-3 to omega-6 balance and drive systemic inflammation. Again, this matters because chronic inflammation is a major driver of heart disease. You may be thinking you're eating healthy just because you use vegetables, but the oil you use matters just as much. Look, I'm not telling you to stop eating vegetables. I'm asking you to be smarter about which ones you choose, how much you eat, and how they're prepared. Not everything that grows in the ground is automatically good for you, especially if your body is changing with age, which it is. Please, if you're a senior, or if you care about someone who is, take this seriously. Your heart is working hard every day to keep you alive. Don't make its job harder with foods that subtly stress the system. Replace canned veggies with fresh or frozen low-sodium options. Be mindful of high oxalate greens. Reduce or rotate nightshades if you're sensitive. Lightly cook cruciferous vegetables instead of eating them raw. And switch to heart-healthy fats like olive oil, avocado oil, or even a bit of ghee. You don't need to overhaul your whole life overnight, but awareness is the first step. The smallest changes can add up to the biggest difference when it comes to your heart. You deserve to feel strong, sharp, and support it as you age, not sabotaged by the very foods you thought were helping you. Your heart is your engine. Protect it, fuel it wisely, and give it every reason to keep beating strong for years to come. When it comes to healthy eating, leafy greens are often praised as the ultimate superfoods. And yes, many of them are packed with essential nutrients like vitamin K, magnesium, folate, and fiber. But here's the part that doesn't make headlines. Certain leafy greens, particularly spinach, beet greens, and Swiss chard, are extremely high in a compound called oxalate or oxalic acid. For seniors especially, this can quietly pose a long-term risk to heart health. Oxalates are naturally occurring chemicals found in many plants, and while they're not inherently toxic, they can become problematic in excess. When oxalates are consumed, they bind to calcium in the gut. This can form calcium oxalate crystals, which are the most common type of kidney stones. You might be thinking, okay, so it's a kidney issue, not the heart. But the body is interconnected. If the kidneys are under stress or not functioning efficiently, the cardiovascular system is almost always affected. Poor kidney function has been directly linked to high blood pressure and an increased risk of heart disease. What's even more concerning is that as we age, our ability to process and eliminate excess oxalates diminishes. That spinach smoothie you drank every morning in your 40s without a problem, it could now be contributing to mineral imbalances and inflammation in your 60s. Long term, this kind of silent stress on the kidneys and blood vessels can lead to calcification of arteries, oxidative stress, and eventually compromised heart function. On top of that, oxalates can block the absorption of other heart critical minerals like calcium and magnesium. Seniors are already more likely to be deficient in these due to age-related changes in digestion and metabolism. So when you flood the system with high oxalate foods every day, you're not just increasing the risk of kidney stones, you're also potentially interfering with your body's ability to regulate heartbeat, muscle contraction, and blood pressure. And no, this doesn't mean you need to banish all leafy greens from your plate. But it does mean moderation and variety are key. Lightly steaming these greens can reduce their oxalate content significantly, and rotating in lower oxalate options like romaine, arugula, or watercress can help you get the nutrients you need without overloading your system. The goal isn't to scare you. It's to empower you with information. Nutrition is never one size fits all, especially as we age. What once worked perfectly for your body may now require adjustment. So if you've been loading up on raw spinach or beet greens in the name of heart health, take a moment to reassess. Your body might be trying to tell you it's time to switch things up. Nightshade vegetables like tomatoes, bell peppers, eggplants, and white potatoes are widely consumed around the world and often recommended for their vitamin and antioxidant content. However, what many people don't realize, especially seniors, is that for certain individuals, these seemingly healthy foods can contribute to low-grade chronic inflammation that may slowly undermine heart health over time. These vegetables contain a group of naturally occurring chemical compounds called alkaloids, most notably solanine and tomatine. In plants, these compounds serve as a natural defense mechanism against insects and pests. In the human body, though, they can have more complex effects, particularly on the digestive and immune systems. While most people tolerate them well in moderation, others, especially older adults with slower metabolisms or existing health issues, may find that frequent consumption of nightshades leads to digestive discomfort, joint stiffness, or even systemic inflammation. And when inflammation becomes chronic, it sets the stage for a host of problems, including increased stress on the cardiovascular system. Chronic inflammation isn't always dramatic or obvious. It doesn't have to come with swelling, redness, or pain. It often shows up subtly: persistent fatigue, brain fog, stiff joints, or just not feeling quite right. For seniors whose immune responses may already be out of balance due to aging, nightshades can sometimes tip the scale in the wrong direction. Over time, low-level inflammation can damage the inner lining of the arteries, the endothelium, making it easier for cholesterol to build up and harder for blood to flow efficiently. This can increase the risk of high blood pressure, atherosclerosis, and eventually more serious cardiovascular events. It's also worth noting that nightshades can trigger immune responses in people with autoimmune conditions, which are more common in older adults. Inflammation related to autoimmune reactivity doesn't just affect the joints or skin. It can also affect blood vessels and heart tissue. That's why some healthcare practitioners suggest an elimination trial for patients who show signs of food sensitivity, especially those with unexplained joint pain or chronic fatigue. Again, it's not that nightshades are inherently harmful to everyone. For many, they're perfectly fine in moderate amounts. But if you're eating them every day, tomato-based sauces, roasted potatoes, eggplant dips, or pepper-heavy meals, it may be worth paying attention to how your body responds. If you start noticing reduced joint pain, less bloating, or even more stable energy levels after cutting back, it could be your body's way of telling you these foods weren't working as well as you thought. The good news is that there are countless anti-inflammatory vegetables that don't come with the same baggage, like zucchini, leafy greens low in oxalates, carrots, or beets. You don't have to give up variety or flavor to support your heart. The key is awareness. Just because a food is marketed as healthy doesn't mean it's the best choice for your body at this stage of life. Your heart, joints, and immune system all deserve foods that truly support them, not ones that may be quietly causing stress behind the scenes. Canned and pickled vegetables are incredibly convenient, especially for seniors who may not always have the energy or access to prepare fresh produce. They last longer, require less preparation, and often seem like a smart, easy way to eat more vegetables. But what many don't realize is that these convenient foods often come with a hidden danger: sodium. And when it comes to heart health, excess sodium is one of the most overlooked but significant risks, especially for older adults. Sodium is used as a preservative in canned and pickled foods to extend shelf life and enhance flavor. However, the levels found in many of these products can be startling. Just one serving of canned green beans or pickled cucumbers can contain over 300 to 400 milligrams of sodium. And let's be honest, most people eat more than one serving at a time. It adds up fast. The recommended daily intake of sodium for older adults is no more than 500 to 300 milligrams, yet a single can of vegetables can push you past that limit before you've even added salt to anything else you eat that day. Why is this such a big deal for the heart? Because sodium attracts water, and too much of it in the bloodstream increases the volume of blood in the vessels. That means your heart has to work harder to push that larger volume through your arteries, which raises your blood pressure. Over time, high blood pressure puts strain on the arterial walls, increases the risk of stroke, and forces your heart to work harder than it should. This constant pressure wears down the cardiovascular system, contributing to conditions like left ventricular hypertrophy, heart failure, and atherosclerosis. This is particularly dangerous for seniors, whose blood vessels naturally lose some elasticity with age, making them more vulnerable to the effects of high blood pressure. Many older adults are already on medication to control hypertension, and yet they unknowingly sabotage their progress by regularly eating canned soups, pickled vegetables, or instant meals loaded with sodium. It's also easy to miss just how much sodium is sneaking into your diet through these foods, because it doesn't always taste overly salty. Many pickled vegetables use a combination of sugar, vinegar, and spices that mask the saltiness, making it harder to detect with your palate. So even if it doesn't taste salty, your blood pressure may still be silently climbing. The damage accumulates over time, and by the time symptoms like headaches, dizziness, or chest tightness show up, the heart may already be under significant strain. But here's the good news: there are simple ways to enjoy the convenience of preserved vegetables without putting your heart at risk. Look for low sodium or no salt added versions of canned vegetables. They're widely available and can make a huge difference. You can also drain and rinse canned vegetables under cold water to remove some of the excess sodium. This alone can cut the sodium content by 30 to 40%. Better yet, consider freezing fresh vegetables when they're in season and using them throughout the year. Being proactive about sodium intake doesn't mean giving up flavor or convenience. It just means being aware of what's hidden in your pantry and how it might be affecting your health. The heart is a resilient organ, but it's not invincible. Reducing sodium, especially the kind hiding in canned and pickled vegetables, is one of the simplest yet most powerful things you can do to support a healthy cardiovascular system as you age. Your heart doesn't need to be working overtime behind the scenes. Give it a break by choosing smarter options today. Cruciferous vegetables like broccoli, kale, cauliflower, cabbage, and Brussels sprouts are often celebrated as some of the healthiest foods on the planet. They're high in fiber, packed with antioxidants, and loaded with vitamins that support everything from digestion to brain function. But like many things in health, more isn't always better, especially when these vegetables are eaten raw and in large amounts, particularly by older adults. What many people don't realize is that cruciferous vegetables contain naturally occurring compounds called goitrogens, which in excess can interfere with thyroid function. And because the thyroid plays a central role in regulating metabolism, including your heart rate and how efficiently your cardiovascular system functions. This is something that deserves serious attention. The thyroid gland produces hormones that help control everything from energy production to how fast your heart beats. When the thyroid isn't working properly, it can lead to a condition called hypothyroidism. This slows down metabolism, increases fatigue, causes weight gain, and can even lead to elevated cholesterol levels, all of which put additional stress on the heart. Goitrogens in raw, cruciferous vegetables can inhibit the uptake of iodine, an essential nutrient for healthy thyroid hormone production. For seniors who may already be dealing with a sluggish thyroid or borderline thyroid function, this interference can tip the balance toward dysfunction. While occasional servings of raw broccoli or kale probably won't cause issues for most people, consuming these vegetables in large quantities, especially in raw green smoothies or salads every single day, can slowly start to affect thyroid performance over time. And because the symptoms of low thyroid function often come on gradually, many seniors don't connect the dots between their diet and how they're feeling. Fatigue, dry skin, cold sensitivity, or mental fog may be brushed off as signs of aging, when in reality, the thyroid may be struggling to keep up, made worse by overconsumption of raw goitrogenic foods. It's also important to note that as we age, digestion and nutrient absorption become less efficient. If your body is already having trouble getting enough iodine or other thyroid, supporting minerals like selenium and zinc, then adding large amounts of goitrogenic vegetables on top of that can compound the problem. The heart is highly dependent on balanced thyroid function. If the thyroid is underperforming, the entire cardiovascular system slows down, heart rate drops, blood pressure may decrease or fluctuate unpredictably, and cholesterol levels can rise, all contributing to long-term cardiac stress. This doesn't mean cruciferous vegetables are bad or should be avoided. They have a lot to offer, especially when cooked. Lightly steaming or sautéing these vegetables can deactivate most of the goitrogens while preserving their valuable nutrients. This makes them much easier on the thyroid and gentler for older digestive systems. It's all about balance and preparation. Rather than loading up on raw kale in every meal, try rotating it with other greens like arugula, romaine, or cooked spinach in moderation. The goal is not to fear vegetables, but to respect how they interact with the body, especially in our later years. Your heart and thyroid are on the same team. When you take steps to protect one, you help the other, being mindful about how much raw cruciferous you're eating, and how it's prepared can help maintain steady energy, a stable heart rate, and a healthier cardiovascular system overall. Many people go out of their way to eat more vegetables, especially as they get older, and become more mindful of heart health. Stir-frying broccoli, roasting Brussels sprouts, or sautéing spinach may seem like smart choices. But here's the catch that often goes unnoticed. The type of oil used in cooking can make or break the health benefits of the meal. And unfortunately, many of the so-called healthy vegetable oils, like soybean oil, corn oil, sunflower oil, and canola oil, can quietly undermine your cardiovascular system over time, especially when consumed frequently. These oils are highly processed and rich in omega-6 polyunsaturated fatty acids, While omega-6 fats are not inherently bad and are essential in small amounts, the modern diet tends to be overloaded with them. Most people, especially in Western countries, consume far more omega-6 than omega-3s, leading to an imbalanced ratio. This imbalance is associated with increased inflammation in the body, and chronic inflammation is a key contributor to many health issues, including heart disease. Over time, that low-grade inflammation can damage the lining of arteries, encourage plaque buildup, and make the blood vessels less flexible, all of which increase the risk of hypertension, stroke, and heart failure. It's not just the amount of omega-6s that's concerning. It's also how these oils are made and used. Many commercial vegetable oils are extracted using high heat and chemical solvents like hexane. This process not only strips away beneficial compounds, but also creates unstable molecules that can oxidize quickly when heated. Cooking with these oils at high temperatures, like when roasting vegetables or pan frying, can produce harmful compounds called aldehydes and lipid peroxides. These substances have been linked to oxidative stress and cellular damage, which is particularly concerning for older adults, whose natural antioxidant defenses may already be lower. For seniors who are trying to eat heart smart, using these oils can unintentionally undo many of the benefits of eating more vegetables. You might be sautéing a bowl of kale or roasting sweet potatoes, thinking you're doing your body good. But if you're using processed seed oils to cook them, you could be introducing more harm than help. This is especially true if these meals are eaten frequently day after day over months and years. Fortunately, there are much better alternatives that support heart health without the inflammatory risks. Oils like extra virgin olive oil, avocado oil, and even small amounts of coconut oil or ghee offer more stable fats that are less likely to oxidize during cooking. Olive oil, in particular, has been shown in numerous studies to support cardiovascular health due to its high content of monounsaturated fats and antioxidants like polyphenols. It's also a good idea to rethink how much oil you use overall. Many times we overdo it, not realizing that even a healthy oil can become problematic in excess. A light drizzle is usually more than enough to get the flavor and texture you want without drenching the dish in unnecessary fat. For high heat cooking, avocado oil is one of the most stable options. For drizzling on finished vegetables or using in dressings, extra virgin olive oil is a gold standard. At the end of the day, it's not just what you eat, it's how you prepare it. Cooking methods and ingredients matter, especially as your body becomes more sensitive to metabolic and inflammatory triggers with age. By making a small switch in your cooking oil, you can dramatically shift your meals from potentially harmful to heart protective. And that's the kind of smart change that pays off in the long run, helping you keep your arteries clear, your energy steady, and your heart beating strong. So if you've made it this far, the message is clear: not all vegetables, or the ways we prepare them, are automatically good for us, especially as we age. Seniors are often told to eat more veggies, and while that advice generally holds true, there are hidden pitfalls in certain choices that deserve more attention. From the oxalate, heavy greens that can silently stress your kidneys and heart, to nightshades that may quietly fuel inflammation, to high-sodium canned options, goitrogenic raw cruciferous vegetables, and inflammatory seed oils used in cooking, it's clear that even healthy habits can go wrong when the details are overlooked. But this isn't a reason to fear food. It's a call to be intentional. Your body changes with time, and so should your nutrition. By learning how certain foods may affect your heart, your thyroid, and your blood pressure, you gain the power to make better choices, ones that truly support your well-being. Cooking your vegetables with heart-friendly oils, choosing low oxalate and low sodium options, lightly steaming your cruciferous veggies, and rotating away from nightshades if inflammation is an issue. These are small changes that can have a big impact. At the end of the day, your health is shaped by consistent, informed decisions. You don't need extreme diets or confusing rules, just a clearer understanding of what your body needs now. Listen to it, respect it, and always remember, the goal isn't to avoid vegetables. It's to eat them in a way that helps you thrive, not just survive. Your heart will thank you for it.